Ladies and gentlemen, it's Joel Osteen. Why do you think Gen Z is so interested in Christianity?
They're authentic and they want to find God for themselves.
So you pretty much are mogging the other pastors through peace maxing as opposed to cortisol spiking.
I have no idea what you just said.
Would you say this is a mega church?
Yeah.
Have you seen Druski's mega church sketch?
That's funny, you know?
You are a wealthy person.
Yes.
Where are the Bentleys, the yachts, and the jets? Do you think there's like different area codes in heaven for people that did better? Really nice houses for a preacher. Then they have like favelas for people like me. And honestly, for you ain't perfect. I'm not gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? Collaborations. You did a big one with a guy named Kanye.
What I see now is not the Ye that I knew. I pray for him.
What do you think happens when we die? And when I say we, I mean, what happens when Mike dies?
Why me specifically?
Well,
Wait, we filmed at your wedding. That was a cool backdrop.
That was cool. Mar-a-Lago was cool. But this is an arena. Thanks. Sorry for destroying your device. This is an arena with a earth sculpture behind me. Joel, I'm kind of mesmerized right now. This is insane. This is where the Houston Rockets used to play?
yeah, I grew up watching the Rockets play here. I had season tickets right back over there.
No way.
Section 104, seat 4. I shared them with a friend of mine, but back in I guess it would be the 80s. Yeah, I had season tickets here. Used to watch Larry Bird and, Michael Jordan, all those guys play here. And never in a million years did I ever dream we would own this building one day, or either I'd be a minister. I mean, I was always behind the scenes. I just never even had any idea. I mean, even when I walk in here and drive in now, sometimes I still get goosebumps.
I get it. I mean,
we have goosebumps right now.
This is insane, dude. It's really quiet. Like the sound design is I assume because when you preach, the people in the back got to hear you.
Yeah, when we got the building, we renovated it and made it, because it was a basketball arena, and I didn't want it to feel like a basketball arena. So we put in new sound, new lighting. We keep tweaking it for sound and everything. So
who actually owns it? Do you own the building?
We own it now. The church does. The ministry does. Yeah, we leased it for. It's a longer story. I'll tell you short of. We leased it for 60 years, and then we were able to buy out the lease. The city owned it. So what's funny, Logan, is when the city owned it. So when the city council voted for us to have it, and it's a 3-year battle, but we got it. When we got it, we got everything in the building. So we got the floor, we got the baskets, we got the goals, we got the popcorn machines, because we got it all. We got the banners, Akeem's banners and all that stuff, which, is intriguing to me, because I thought, all this iconic stuff. Now, we gave Akeem his banners and stuff, but when we were renovating it, I found confetti under the bleachers from where we won the championships. So it was like a dream that, all those years, as a kid, it was the premier facility. We came to circuses here and everything. So, man, we got the building. Never dreamed, but, even driving up today, we've been in here 20 years, and it's just like, who would have ever thought?
Yeah, it's pretty trippy driving by and you see an arena that says Lakewood Church on the outside of it.
Is this the most seats, or like the biggest church in the States, or is there bigger churches?
I think technically probably the most seats. So there are churches that have more campuses and things, but it's an amazing thing. It's part of my story that you don't know where God has taken you. I believe God's plan for our life is bigger than our own. I mean, I never dreamed that I'd be a minister. We'd be here getting to sit with you guys, but who knows where God's taking you? And so, it's part of my message is God's put gifts in you. He's put talents that maybe you haven't tapped into yet. I mean, 20 something years ago, I was running camera, and I was happy doing that. I thought that's what I'd do the rest of my life. But you know what? God had other plans, and I think sometimes He doesn't tell you because you'd be afraid to do it, because I never thought I could do any of this.
20 years ago, you were running the cameras?
Yeah, let's see, my dad died in 1999. No, I'm off a little, 27 years ago.
Okay.
So my dad passed, yeah. So got out of high school in 81, went away to college for a year, and I knew I wanted to come back and work with my parents at the church. I love the church, but my thing is, when I was 10, 12, 13, I'd come down on Saturdays and play with the equipment. The church was small, but we'd have some little cameras, and I'd mess with them. I loved editing. I loved lighting. I loved all that. And so went away to college to study television production. Went to Oral Roberts University for a year. Oral was a I grew up in a preacher's home, and so he was like an icon to us, and he was a friend of my dad. So I went there for a year, but I told my dad, I said, college is not for me. I'm ready to come back. I want to help with the church and start a television ministry. And so my dad let us buy all the equipment that we needed, and I put the church, our local services on the air locally. And so that's what I thought I would do. And my dad was an amazing pastor, an amazing man. I loved working with him. And so life was really, really good. And I thought that I'd done that for 17 years. And really, during those 17 years, my dad tried to get me up to speak, to minister one service. And I think, had no desire. I thought, Daddy, I'm not a minister. I wouldn't know what to say. That's not who I am, but never wanted to do it. And, it's a longer story, but I ended up doing it one day.
I have to interrupt you for 1 second.
Yes.
Normally we do an intro for our guests. And I just realized I have glossed right over it. So I'd love to just rewind a second and get this intro for you. Forewarning, Pat, our PDF guy, PDF Pat, got this from ChatGPT.
You got it.
Our guests typically like them, but I'm gonna go ahead and hit this. Okay.
Sure.
All right. Today's guest might be the most positive man on planet Earth. He's the pastor of Lakewood Church, a best-selling author, and someone who's built a global audience by preaching faith, hope, and keeping your mindset right, whether you've heard him in church, on TV, or your mom's Facebook feed. He's one of the most recognizable voices in modern Christianity. Make some noise for Joel Osteen!
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow, ChatGPT is great.
Y'all make me a lot bigger than I am, but thank you.
It is Osteen, right?
It's Osteen.
Mike, you son, bro, are you kidding me, dog?
I've never heard it pronounced
this,
with the O. I've never heard it pronounced like
I have
that.
to do it
It's
again.
Everyone's always said Osteen. I feel like it's one of those things, tomato, tomato. I don't think it throws off the show. And you could blame it on ChatGPT.
I get it all the time. Don't worry.
Do you hear Osteen more or Osteen
I hear
more?
Osteen more, and then I hear Oldstein with an L.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Let me do this one more time. I'll just hit the last part.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Joel Osteen. That was a joke. That was just a joke. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Joel Osteen.
Yeah.
Thank you. Y'all are too funny.
Man, that's just tragic because we had a whole conversation. His mom's a
Yes,
massive
me.
fan of you. As you know, Robin flew here from
She's
New
in the
York.
front row.
Just
Look at
to
her.
meet you.
Talk about not knowing what God has in store for you. My mom watched you through really dark days of my addiction. I was a heroin addict for 10 years, and she went through a lot, put her through a lot of really dark days where she didn't know who to turn to, and she turned to you.
Wow.
And it was during those days that we learned, don't call mom on Sunday morning because she's busy. And she's crying again now. Yeah. It's the only time of the week where she will not put down what she's doing. Normally, if her boss calls or whatever, she says, I'm on the phone with my son, can't talk right now. But when you're on her TV, she tells all us she's busy.
Amazing.
What is it like to have an impact like that on people?
I feel very, very humbled, very, very honored to just be able to help people that you've never met. And, it's just what a thing I never dreamed I'd be able to do. So that's the only way I can describe it. I just feel humbled to get to meet people like that and just, give them hope. I found, Mike, everybody's going through something. No matter what they show on the outside, people have challenges and difficulties. And so my goal is to brighten their day, let them know God has a plan and a purpose, and He can give you strength to get through those difficult times. So I feel like that's what I'm called to do, and I kind of stay in my lane of, somehow I'm gonna lift somebody today with this message. So that's my goal.
Perhaps this is a horrible analogy, but when
Nice preface.
yeah, when you're on a plane, they say to put your if the oxygen masks are deployed, they say put the oxygen mask on yourself before helping others. Do you feel like you've put your own oxygen mask on first because you spend at least a lot of your professional career helping others? But what about you personally?
Yeah, it's a great question, Logan. I feel like I do, and I feel like it's important. I think one of my strengths is focus and discipline. I think it's natural to me. So I'm real good about staying balanced physically, spiritually, and emotionally, because we're a three-part being. And in a big ministry, a big job like you guys have, there's always problems. There's always things to deal with. But I'm good at focusing, delegating what needs to be dealt with. Because, you can work 24 hours a day, but I take time, like I worked out this morning. I'll take time to play tennis with Jonathan. I'll take time to, to laugh and, ride bikes with Victoria. I think the recreation part, the taking care of your physical body is important, because, the balance is important to me. And so I'm good at that, at taking care of myself, so I can be good on that 30 minutes that I'm up here on the weekends. I know if I'm tired mentally, if I hadn't worked out, or if I'm just bogged down with problems and legitimate problems, things we need to solve, but you can only handle so much. You only have so much emotional energy. So I'm good at staying balanced and delegating where I need to. But I think that's where, that's where we can get off, in that you can't carry everything. You can't carry all the weight back home. When I go back home, after Sundays, I'm talking with a lot of people that have cancer, people that are going through divorce, people that are, like your mom was going through. And you know what? You're pouring all you can into them. But when I go back home, it's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to leave the stress at the door. I'm going to go back into a place of peace, watch some ball games, go for a bike ride. My wife, Victoria, is great because the home's filled with laughter. Victoria loves to laugh and joy. And so I think that's one of the keys, Logan, is I've been married 39 years now and doing this for 27 years, is we haven't lost that laughter and that joy, because life can press you down and it's like, oh man, it's so much now and what's going to happen? But I think that's a part of it. But getting back to the question, you got to take care of yourself. There's nothing unhealthy or nothing selfish about saying, you know what, I got to take time for me, y'all. I got to have a break. And I think that's where sometimes, especially ministers, I'm in a different field obviously than y'all, but ministers burn out so fast because there's just, you're dealing with people that have challenges and your heart breaks for them. And, people that are, we have the big medical center here. And so every week there's got to be a half a dozen people that are facing terminal disease. They flying in. They say, you know what, we're on our last leg. And you know what? And our hearts go out to them. We do everything we can. But I do think you have to keep yourself filled back up. And I'm sorry, I'm doing all the talking. Is that okay?
No, you're supposed to.
You're the guest.
You're the guest on the show.
I feel like I'm doing all the talking. But I think the other thing, too, for me, I start off each morning, and I'll go out to my office at my house. I start off the day in faith. I like to get up in the morning and just be grateful, find something to be grateful for. Before I read my phone, before I check the news, before I read the problems we got to deal with, you know what, Lord, I'm grateful that I'm alive today. Thank you for letting me be alive on this day. Thank you for my family. So just get my attitude in the right place. And, and I read the scripture and stuff and, praying and thanking God. But to me, that fills me back up that gets me ready for the day. I don't like to start the day empty or in a hurry or frustrated or just going to deal with this problem. Like, I don't check my phone. I think it's important for me. Then I get filled up. Then, you know what? I'm ready for the day. By the end of the day, I may be depleted, but I'll get up and do it again in the morning. But I think it's an important thing. I always tell people, if you don't set the tone for the day, other things will set it for you. I mean, if you don't make up your mind, you know what? I get up, Lord, I think that I'm alive on April 6th, 2026. I get to come be with you guys. I get to go work out today. I get to do my radio after this. I got a great day. I don't know. It helps me to stay filled up. And because I know some people, guys, they go to work and they work around negative people. They work around dysfunction. And I always tell them, well, you can't go there and try to just maintain. You got to get filled up before you go. When you get filled up with a good attitude, and I like to make this decision, you know what? I'm going to have a great day today no matter what happens. You decide ahead of time, because otherwise I'm going to have a great day if the traffic's not bad, or I'm going to have a great day if we have a good interview. I'm going to have a great day if, but you make the decision ahead of time. And, then life happens, but I think then you're prepared that, hey, you know what? I can still enjoy this day. I'm alive. I'm healthy. I got healthy children. I got opportunity. And so I try to focus on that.
It's a pretty tried and true method, I think, for a lot of successful people to get up and avoid the phone for 30 minutes, fill up on that positivity and that gratitude as a way to really ground yourself in the present, as opposed to being constantly distracted by all the atrocities. And
WWE World returns to Las Vegas this April 16th through 20th, and it's the can't-miss destination during WrestleMania week. WWE World brings the WWE Universe closer than ever to the superstars, legends, and iconic moments that define WWE with immersive exhibits, exclusive merchandise, and experiences that you will not find anywhere else. See superstars like Drew McIntyre, Liv Morgan, Jey Uso, Dominic Mysterio, Tiffany Stratton, and many more, with even more appearances still to come. Heck, I might even be there. Tickets are on sale now at WWEworld.com. Save 10% with the promo code IMPULSIVE10. Back to the show.
One thing I know about you is that you lead with positivity.
Yeah.
And it's something that the world, something I try to do all the time as well. And it's something that the world needs a lot more of. And you do it in your ministry. And that's brought you some critics.
Yeah.
And some controversy because, you know, not everything in the scripture is positive.
Yes.
And so how do you balance biblical truths, some hard biblical truths with that positive message?
Yeah, it's a great point. And if everybody listens to us, I talk about the negative times probably as much as the positive times. I just end with the positive, meaning that I wrote a book called Blessed in the Darkness. Some of the biggest times of growth in our life is through the seasons we don't understand, the suffering season. My dad passing away, I thought, oh my gosh, my dad, my best friend, but that's what launched me into what I'm doing today. So I believe in, I don't believe we're supposed to just suffer to suffer because, hey, I'm a believer and I'm supposed to have a defeated, bad life. I love what the scripture says, count it all joy when you face suffering. So my thing is, okay, man, I'm in a hard time. I'm maybe your mom, I'm dealing with this son that's off course, but God, I thank you that you're giving me the grace to make it through. It's that positive attitude of faith in the difficult times. And so, I don't know, I don't shy away from, you know what, we're all going to face challenges. I don't care if you're a person of faith or how good you are. Life's going to happen to us all. But to me, the difference between having faith and not is if I go through this, with your mom could have got bitter. She could have got angry. She could have given up on life. She could have, all that. But you know what? She turned to her faith and she said, God, give me strength. God, give me peace. God, give me. And I think that's what I'm talking about. So it says we are to suffer and we are going to have difficult times, but Jesus said, be of good cheer. I've overcome the world. So I go to that side of, okay, guys, we're in a tough time, but let's keep moving forward. We're going to get through this. And I just think that going the other route is, okay, you know what? I'm bitter. I'm angry. I don't know why this happened. God,
Scared.
where are you? Yeah. And then I think it just pulls you back. And it's a negative cycle. If your mind's going the negative, you're drawing in more negative. Verse, okay, I'm in this negative place, but you know what? God, I believe you're still in control. I'm going to put a smile on my face by faith. That's sometimes you got to do it. You just got to smile by faith. And you just got to walk through that dark season.
I think that ends up driving more, Gen Zs and people that are coming of age now to Christianity than the flip side of it. I think people want to be empowered by faith and by their relationship with God more so than scared by it or threatened by it.
Yeah. I think so. I'm 100%. And it's I was raised in this, so I probably have an advantage. My dad's a pastor. There's different types for everybody. Some people need to be scared. They scare the hell out of you. Yeah. My dad was a little bit different. It was more the goodness of God. Why wouldn't we want to serve a God that gives you peace and strength and joy and that can help you through difficult times? So that's what, that's my focus. And other people have other focuses, other ministers, and they're doing great too. It's not one way, it's not just my way, but there's a scripture that says it's the goodness of God that leads to repentance. And that's what I feel like I'm called to share, that when I let people know God's got a purpose for their life, that you haven't made too many mistakes, you ain't got too far off course, and you're not too addicted, that you can still become who you're created to be. I believe that draws people. Because really, 50% of the people that listen to me, they've never been to church. They weren't raised like me. But that was my whole goal. When my dad passed, I thought, I don't want to just talk to my church friends because they know the Lord, and I want to reach out to people that didn't know him,
I love that about what you do. You're a bit of an expansionist in that way.
Yeah.
Even just yesterday, Easter, I logged onto YouTube and I watched you preach live for a little bit.
Yeah.
And it looked great. It was a great live production. He had 8K concurrence, which is like in streamerland is like formidable.
It's a very good audience. Yeah.
And you got a Clipper army working for you.
I don't know what that means.
Is?
Something to think about.
Basically, it's a group of people that go and they clip your content, your long form content, based on things that they think will go viral on TikTok and Instagram Reels, and it expands your reach. It's something we can talk to you about after the show.
I could
sure.
see some Joel Osteen clips on Feared Book.
Potentially,
You know
or
what I'm
maybe
saying?
even Scuba Ryan.
Scuba
Steve, yeah, maybe.
Wait, I think it might be Scuba Ryan.
Scuba Steve's from Billy
Dominican.
Matt. No.
Big guy, SpongeBob.
Big Daddy. Scuba Steve.
Anyways, something to think
sorry
about.
about
Anyways,
that. We've gone off course.
You've blent. I'll go ahead and say the word blent. You've blent.
It has Lent in it, so it's almost Christian, like a Christian thing, which just ended.
You blended like this traditional world in this new age world in a really cool way. Even just looking around here, everything's like really technologically savvy, like the screens, the lighting, the everything. And so like
Look at the ceiling.
Yeah, when you started preaching, when did you make that decision of like, I don't want to just touch the audience that is regularly here?
Yeah, it was Logan. It was when my dad died. And it was when I first stepped up. It was always in me. Even from my dad, when I came back to help my father, that's why we put it on television, again, to get past the four walls of our church. So I think it was in me. And I think, too, the 17 years of production, it really played into my communication skill today and my ability, because we took this building from a basketball arena, and, I thought, just little things. I thought, I don't want a choir behind me in my close-up camera, because, sometimes they can be daydreaming or all that. I don't want to see people. I want something that looks like the Grammys. I said, let's do it. And I was smart in this, I think. I hired people a lot smarter than I am. I mean, one thing I've learned is I hire the best people.
Yeah.
And so I'd hire the consultant that did a lot of the Grammys, and he designed all the stage. And some of these, you've got great people too. But I don't know. I think it's just, to me, I don't want somebody to turn me off because your lighting's not right or you look subpar. We got enough. I mean, I'm a pastor on television. I already got 90% of the people are saying, you're a fraud, you're this. You know what I mean? In general, coming out of some of those days of television pastor. So my thing was, I want it to look good. I want it to sound right. I don't want anything to turn us off. Turn people off.
Why do you think you would receive that criticism?
I think when, I'm going back, I'm older than you, but there was just some television ministries that didn't all pan out. And so it kind of, we all get grouped into one big thing. Okay, you're a guy on television. All you want is money, or all you want is, so there's some of that kind of thing. I think that world is changing. I think, we've been doing it for 27 years, and I get good audience and I have a lot of, favor, I guess you'd say. But I do think I go into that knowing that, people are skeptical. What do you want from me? Why are you on the air? But I just think the look and all that plays a part into the professionalism. Even when I stand up here in that reverse camera, if you saw it yesterday, there's 15,000 people. It instantly gives you credibility. Whether somebody likes you or not, they think, well, this guy has something. So, my goal is somebody that's never watched or never been raised in this, well, they give me 30 seconds to hear something that maybe makes sense. And a lot of my messages, I'm a little different than my father, and maybe even a traditional pastor, because I want somebody to leave every week. When they leave, I want them to have one thing that they can use that day, one thing that's practical. Really, we got all the scriptures, but how do we live life? And that's always my goal, is to say, what, I may take just a part of a scripture. I mean, yesterday I was talking about, Thomas doubted, but yet, my point was, God came to him when Jesus raised from the dead. He came to Thomas. He didn't go to all the believers. He went to the doubter. And God comes to you in your doubt, when you have questions, when you don't understand. And Thomas ended up going further than all the other disciples. And so my point yesterday, man, leave knowing that God is for you, even when you have doubts and failures and you've made mistakes, that He's still for you. And that was my Easter. So I don't know. I guess my point is, just want to leave somebody every week. How is the Bible practical in my life? How do I forgive? How do I keep a good attitude? How do I go through a tough time when my son's off course? And how do I reach my dreams? That's a big one too. And, I get hit for that, but I believe God wants us to dream big and to impact the culture. I mean, you guys are doing that. And it's just, I believe God's put big things in us, and some things like when I started Logan, I thought, my natural, in my mind, I thought my dad's this great pastor. He'd been pastoring for 40 years. He went to seminary. I'd never spoken in public. I'd never been to seminary, but yet I stepped up to pastor. And in my mind, it said, Joel, you're not qualified. You're too shy. You're not as dynamic as your father. You don't have that big voice. You don't know the Bible. All those things were just playing in my mind, 24 hours a day. And man, I had to, take control of that and say, you know what? No, I believe I'm who God says I am, that I'm equipped, that I'm empowered, that I'm raised up to do this. And I believe that battle takes place here in our mind to step into the dreams that God has for us. Because, I talk to people, there's a lot of self-doubt. There's a lot of stuff that comes against us. I'm not attractive enough. I'm not talented enough. I'm not big enough. I'm not, you got to tune that out, because I believe every person has what they need to fulfill their purpose. God's put in each one of us. And I can't be like my dad. My dad was a better preacher than me. He was more fiery. But you know what? God gave me a gift of, I'm more easygoing. I'm more talking about life. But, I don't say this bragging on me, but, I've expanded it many, God's expanded it and helped us to expand many times for what my father saw.
What would you say to somebody drawing from your own experience is the tactical way out of that self-doubt?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it's a process that you just have to, day by day, almost thought by thought. I think first off, you have to identify it. That we all have an inner dialogue. We're always talking to ourselves, and I found that many people don't realize their dialogue is negative. They don't realize that it's just, I'm not as smart as my sister, and I'm not that talented, and, you can do that because you got all this, gifts. We tend to put ourselves down. I don't think we know it. I think the first thing is to think about what you're thinking about, because you talk to yourself more than you talk to anybody else. And I really believe you believe yourself more than you believe what others say. Even if somebody's criticizing, I still think you come back and I like this thought. You have enough people in life against you. Don't be against yourself. Don't have that recording. I mean, when I would get up on Sunday morning, I would have to force myself to say, Joel, just turn it around. You're equipped, you're well able. These people like you. You're going to do good. Everybody's here to listen. Because my other thought was, nobody wants to hear you. You're not trained. You're not like your dad. So I just had to, it's a process of turning it off. I think it's just, if you can identify it, and then, you know what, I have this, we say it every service. I have this, this phrase that we say, and it's just what I say, this is what God says. It's, I'm blessed, I'm prosperous, I'm redeemed, I'm forgiven, I'm talented, I'm creative, I'm disciplined, I'm focused, I'm prepared, I'm qualified, I'm motivated, I'm valuable, I'm free, I'm equipped, I'm empowered, I'm anointed. I'm not average. I'm not mediocre. I'm a child of the Most High God. I will become all He's created me to be. We say that every service. I had people say that. And it's not just being positive. It's getting in agreement to me with who God says you are. Otherwise, I don't know, life can push us down. And I think the flip side of this, Logan, is people say, well, I'm not all those things. But I believe as you continue to say it, you're inviting it into your life.
I was just about to say, because a lot of the adjectives that you're saying are like really powerful, like multidisciplinary, life-altering characteristics that people can have and that aren't always easy. I mean, discipline, motivated, like some people, I think generally like can lack those things. But if you're saying it over and over and over, you're literally manifesting it. Like I'm a big believer in manifestation and just vocalizing your desires or your beliefs about yourself into existence. And so I do agree, and I love that you say that every day, because eventually you're going to find that maybe I check off actually a majority of that list of things.
I love that because it's in the Scripture. The Scripture says, life and death are in the power of our tongue, and a lot of the positive principles you can find from the Scripture.
WWE Universe, we've got some huge news. Your favorite WWE podcasts are recording live at Fanatics Fest, New York City, this July 16th through 19th at the Javits Center. Javits Center? Javits Center. Catch live episodes of What Do You Want to Talk About with Cody Rhodes, WWE Now, and of course, your boys Impulsive. We will be there. And that is not all. WWE superstars will be in the building all weekend signing autographs, taking photos, making surprise appearances, including myself. Trust me, you're going to want to be there. Tickets are on sale now at fanaticsfest.com. Grab yours today and we'll see you there.
It is so important. You can't talk defeat and live negative, and you can't talk against yourself. It's going back into you. And I believe those words are powerful, and it's just what you're saying, as you continue to say it, you're going to get more disciplined. You're going to get more focused. And even, I see people that are fighting sicknesses. I have he's over it now, but I have a friend that was fighting cancer. He wouldn't let us use the word cancer around him. He said, don't say that word. Don't say that word. He said, just, say it. And I thought, and I teach to people too, don't say my addiction or my diabetes or my heart trouble. Don't take ownership of it. It's just, see yourself as a healthy person fighting off sickness, not a sick person trying to get well, just that thing. But I speak a lot on the power of our words, and my dad was good on that, but it's really important, and that helped me too. I'd get in front of a mirror. When my dad died, never preached before, and I'm going to stand up in front of 6,000 people on a Sunday morning, and I can't sleep at night, and I'm so nervous, and I have to hold the podium, but I'd have to go look in the mirror and say, Joel, you're strong, you're equipped, you're empowered. And I know it sounds weird, but man, I say this, if you don't talk to yourself, somebody else will talk to you. Yourself will talk to you. Your own thoughts will talk to you. So I think you have to get control of that. And I know people can take it wrong. I'm not saying in a weird way, like, hey, I'm going to be the president or I'm going to be on WWE. I don't mean that. I mean, but, what are the dreams God's put in your heart? Don't go around saying, I can't ever become a minister. I can't ever start my own business or, even these things. I'll never be able to afford that. You're speaking defeat over your life. Maybe, how about this? I can't afford it right now, but maybe one day I can. Or my child's never going to get well. I mean, he's so far off course. You're speaking defeat. Don't speak defeat, speak life and speak victory. Even if it's, hey, Mike's off course right now, but I know, you know what? God's working. God's doing things in his life. But I don't know. And some people say it's just positive, but I believe it's different than that. It's speaking life and faith and victory into your future. And so it's a big part of who we are and big part of what Lakewood's all about.
I love that. It's such a great message. Him and his brother are like two testaments to manifestation. I have never been very good at it, but I saw a neuroscientist. I watched a video last week that said the brain acts like a social media algorithm, and the more you feed it or like and get a dopamine burst out of it and feed into that negative, I can't, it serves you more of it.
Yeah.
And I think the problem that a lot of people have when he brought up discipline is the process that you're talking about in changing over to more positive self-speak is unfortunately a little bit of work.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of work, but it's work that can go further than any other work that you could ever do in your life because it can lead you to such incredible places. So it's just really getting over that hump.
Yeah, that's so good, Mike. I heard this saying too, the pain of discipline is less than the pain of regret. So to me, there's going to be pain either way. There's going to be pain of discipline, getting up, doing what I know I'm supposed to do, working hard, being nice to somebody that's not nice to me, doing the right thing when the wrong thing's happening. That's discipline too. But, the pain of regret is, I didn't go after my dreams, or I have a lousy relationships, or I don't like myself. And so I think it's, I'm not saying any of this is easy and it didn't happen without, work and long nights and all that. You guys know about that. But I just think when you tap into that discipline, doing the right thing when it's hard, the payoff's so much better. Because, like I said, there's going to be pain the other way of just, I'm not who I'm supposed to be.
So we talked a little bit right there about self-doubt, but I want to ask you a question about bringing it back to God. Was there ever a time in your life where you had doubt in your relationship with God?
Mike, that sounds weird, but really not for me. I grew up in this home with my parents, and they were very loving, and I saw my parents on the platform. They were the same at home as they were here. My dad was for the underdog. He loved people, and so I saw God is good, and I've seen God's bring me through things. I've never had that doubt in my own life, and I know a lot of people have a doubt of God, but I really haven't. I just can only speak for me, but I know people that, don't see it like me, but I never have.
What about doubt in your own ability to follow God's word?
Yeah.
Like, do you drink?
I don't drink. No.
Do you eat way too much food on Thanksgiving?
I do some stuff, yes.
Is that gluttony?
Yeah. Well, I never really think of it like that. I don't know. But I think Logan, you're asking of, hey, we all have struggles, and yeah, I don't all get it all right, So there is times I obviously don't measure up in things, but I don't know.
Like we had Cliffe Knechtle on here.
Yeah.
Who's him and his son Stuart, they're great.
Very popular.
Yeah.
Very, very well known.
Amazing.
Yeah. And man, he like sat, well, not where you're sitting, but in the same seat, respectively to where we were at the time, of course. And he kept saying, I'm a dirty, rotten sinner. That's why, part of the reason, why I'm a Christian, because I know my God will forgive me, and I ask him for forgiveness. And I kept thinking of those words. And maybe I took them too literally, but he kept saying, he is someone who sins.
Yes.
And he prays for forgiveness, and God forgives him. Do you find yourself in a boat where, maybe you aren't always 100% abiding by the Ten Commandments?
Logan, I do, but I don't dwell on it much. And I don't mean to sound self-righteous or like I'm perfect, because I'm not. But my mind goes into, I get up in the morning and try to search my heart. God, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing it for the right reason? Am I doing it for the ego? Or But when I can come back to that place of peace to say, okay, I believe I'm doing the right thing. Now I make mistakes, and you've got your wrong thoughts and all that stuff. But I come back to that place of peace and trust. I don't live from a place of a dirty, rotten sinner. And I love Cliffe, and they're amazing, but I don't live from that place. I live from a place that God He's made me righteous. It wasn't what I did, it's what Jesus did on the cross. And so I just live from a righteous standpoint than the other. And I don't mean that I'm not born into sin and all that as well, but I don't know. I see it a little. I don't think, for me, not talking about any others, I don't think it's helpful to just say, I'm no good, I'm unworthy, don't measure up. Well, none of us did, but when Jesus came, he made us worthy. I've accepted his forgiveness. I still make mistakes and ask for forgiveness, but I live from a God is pleased with me mentality. And I don't mean that arrogant, and I don't mean I'm perfect, but I think that's better. That helps me to know that otherwise, you know what, I don't know. To me, otherwise it just pushes you down and makes you do worse.
It doesn't seem like there's a exact science to how to be the perfect Christian, which is kind of where it's a little interesting. And I guess the reason I'm harping on that so much is because I think there's humanity, a lot of humanity in people admitting that they aren't perfect. In fact, far from it.
Yes.
I think, by the way, that's Cliffe's ultimate point. I think this is my opinion. I think he's probably exaggerating a little bit to make people realize it's okay to not be 100%.
100%.
Right all the time.
Yes.
But I think his ability to relay that message is obviously effective in its own way, and I think a lot of people watch him and listen to him and his son and hear the message differently, but ultimately I think the principles are the same, which is something I really like about everything you're saying today, because even before he asked about God, it's the things you're saying, the principles make so much sense.
Yeah.
Even just remove God from the equation for a second, what you're saying is logically makes sense.
Yes. Well, there's different routes for people that need different things, and I watch Cliffe on the campuses and stuff, and they're amazing and phenomenal. It's just, this is what I feel like God's given me, but it is a big part of it, Logan, is we're not here because we're perfect. I wouldn't be on this platform or anything. We all, have things we need to improve in. My thing is, am I better this year than I was 5 years ago? Am I growing? Am I forgiving more? Am I less judgmental? Am I better in my relationships? I think that's a big part of it, but not beating myself up just every day saying, you know what, I'm just this lousy sinner and I can't do anything right. I just come from a different point of view.
Gen Z is showing renewed interest in Christianity.
Yeah.
Do you think it's partially because of social media, the ability to distribute your content in meaningful ways across different mediums, or do you think there's something else? Like, why do you think Gen Z is so interested in Christianity all of a sudden?
You know, I don't know if I have all the answers. I just think people are hungry for more. I think they feel like there's something missing. It may be, I'm sure it's a part of that too. I think all that's going on in the world, and, you know, you guys know more than me, but some, you know, social media, some of this, you're not fulfilled just, you know, rising high or competing or comparing and all that. That leaves you empty. And I think there's that void in every person that only God can fill. And, you know, I think that's a big part of it. Is just that I think they're realizing that, you know what, you can't compete on social media. Everybody's seeing you're always one up. There's always a better pastor than there's always something. And so I think that's part of it. And just what's going on in the world. I think Gen Z, they see you know, they can see through. They're authentic, and they want to. I think, you know, find God for themselves.
It's funny watching like the new generations come up and like rebelling against the things that we thought that they would adopt so much. Like a lot of them are learning really early because they're growing up on their phones.
Yeah,
they're growing up on iPads, and by the time they're like of age to start dictating their own usage, they're pushing it away. They're saying we actually don't think this is good for us. A lot of them are doing it with alcohol. A lot of them are doing it with the things that, you know, our generations were exploring because the people before us were telling them that they were bad and they weren't good and they didn't do them. So then, and you get this like pendulum effect.
Yeah,
you know, where each generation kind of acts a little bit differently than the one before it, but they are definitely coming back to church in a meaningful way. I think they're currently in church more than boomers. Boomers are there like 1.4x monthly on average, and Gen Z's there 2x. So, and I think you're doing a great job of meeting them where they are, you know, but we got to get the Clippers going for you.
Clip Army.
It's really
the Clip Army.
We got to get you the Clipper.
Y'all got to help me.
Yeah.
Y'all got to help me.
Can we go back, because I want to address this, because there's gonna be some controversy here. Where are the Bentleys, the yachts, and the jets? Because this is a big place. I don't know if there's a garage somewhere or some sort of parking spot for the boats.
Would you be down to take me on a ride?
In
your Bentley after
this?
this?
G650.
Yeah, that's right. In my fleet of cars. No, you know what? People like to make up stuff, but I don't think I've ever sat in a Ferrari, and they showed me pictures of me driving Ferraris and fleets of cars, and Joel's got his yachts and jets and stuff, but I never respond to it.
Wait, so you have no yachts?
I have no yachts.
Wait.
I have no jets. I have no
you
cars.
won't even have one jet.
I don't have one jet. I've never owned a jet. I've never owned a yacht or, you know, a fleet of cars or.
So let's talk through it. The ministry here, the church has its value. It's obviously has a ton of people that come in and make donations, and there's donations digitally from the outside. You don't take a salary from the church.
I don't take a salary from the church. I've been blessed with book sales and media and other things, so I don't have to take a salary. So I can work here for basically no salary, and I haven't for most of the time, the 26 years here or so. So, but you know, people like to think it's all about money and things like that, but I'm the ones that want to try to discredit you, but it's no, never taken a salary. God's blessed me. I mean, Logan, I wrote my first book. My dad would write books, you know, and he'd sell 10,000 copies, and that was great, you know. Yeah. Well, I wrote my first book, and my publisher called me and said they're going to publish 250,000 copies. I told my wife, Victoria, I said, they're crazy. You know, this was 21 years ago. I said, they're crazy. They're going to publish 250,000. My dad sold 10,000. Well, that sold out. Well, my first book sold 10 million copies.
That's insane.
I couldn't make that happen.
Wait, how?
It is. I guess it just caught on, you know, it just caught on. I was on TV and stuff, and it was just, some of this I can't explain. I can't explain. It's the sovereignty of God. I think I'm reaping seeds that my parents have sown, but I couldn't make that up. It was on the bestseller list for 2 years. I couldn't make that up. So
that's crazy.
It's just things happening that, well, you know what? I get paid for my book sales, and this is from Walmart and Target, and then I've written others, and I'm on Sirius Radio, and there's so I'm blessed in outside areas of the church. None of the donations come to me, and I feel what greater thing can I feel to think that I can work here and I don't have to take a salary, and God's blessed me in other ways, and so. You know, I make good investments. I love real estate. I love doing things, but it has nothing to do with But I'm not exorbitant in these, I don't like that. Of course, I don't like when people say you're just doing it for the money and you got these fleets of cars. And if somebody wants fast, fun cars, that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not me.
Do you, two things. One, does it make you angry when people tell those stories, or did it make you angry and maybe you're a little bit more peaceful with it now? And two, does it somewhat dictate the purchases that you actually do make? Like, is there something that you've ever really wanted? Like, say you wanted to buy a T-Rex head, for example, or a really expensive Pokemon card, and you didn't do it because you were worried about what people might say.
I can't think of anything offhand. I'm sure the answer would be yes. I don't know anything right offhand, but the answer, of course, would be yes. It's just, but does it make me angry? You know what? I don't pay attention to it. My attitude is life is too short. This is a good day to be alive because, you guys know you'll put out that one fire and there'll be 5 more fires. And if you go down that road, and I have to tell my team, because, I have a team that helps me, and I have to say, guys, quit. You don't have to defend me. They want to defend me. They want to fight for me. They're not as nice as I am. But, it's just, I always say this, you only have so much emotional energy each day. It takes a lot of emotional energy to be angry, to be offended, or to be guilty, to be mad at yourself. And I want to use my energy for good things, to do good on this interview, to have fun with my kids today, to enjoy my life. And so I have to say, I'm not perfect. I don't like it, but I don't think it makes me angry. I think what I've learned, Mike, is I've been doing it 27 years, and I've had a lot of critics. I have probably more than anybody in the Christian world, because just, they try to, it's success and it's all this, but I know what we're doing is helping people and doing the right thing. But in 27 years, it's never stopped me. And I've had, I've done 60 Minutes. I've done all the, the big things, news and all that. And we have nothing to hide. We're here to help people, to give them hope, and help people like your mom. And, there's so much negativity in the world, and hatefulness and divisiveness. We're here to bring hope and, hey, let you know you can get through these tough times. But I think there are people, Logan, you know this, there are people that they want to discredit you. They want to misunderstand you. Maybe they don't want you to succeed, but I've learned that I don't give that my energy. I let it go. I'm good at letting it go. Maybe that's one of my strong traits, but I don't like it, because I had people come up and they'll ask about things, and not even in a bad sense, but I think, well, guys, I don't own all those cars. What's it like driving? I don't own any of that.
I'm not a preacher, so like when that, like the haters, let's call them for like an easy word, I don't really bother. But is there a rationale in thinking that they're actually the ones who do need your energy? Because why hate on someone? Why try to bring someone else down or criticize someone else if you're feeling adequate about your life? And if you're feeling inadequate about your life, aren't you a person who probably actually does need to hear what you're saying?
I know. It's great reasoning. It really is. And I think that's what it is, Unfortunately, a lot of times people that, and I think there's valid criticism. I don't mean
that's for sure.
I listen to the good ones, but I'm talking about people that just don't like you because you got a big church, or don't like you because you're, successful.
Yeah.
That's different. So I think what I think is they don't feel good about themselves. And so they're going to try to take it out on somebody else.
That's what I'm saying. I think they got to come here.
But also,
I think like in a way, it's like those are the people you want to touch. Like you said it earlier, like Jesus rose and went to the non-believer.
I know. Well, that's the thing, and I talk a lot about these subjects of being good to those who aren't good to you. The scripture even says, if you'll, I'll paraphrase, if you honor God, keep him first, he'll cause you, even your enemies, to be at peace with you. And I meet people every week. I meet people after the service for an hour or two. And there's always one or two that says, man, I was your biggest critic. And man, I did, but now I understand what you do. And so I just try to, I like to live by that, I keep giving you all these analogies. I like to live by that eagle. I've taught about how, an eagle, a crow will try to pester an eagle, but the eagle never fights with the crow. The eagle just flies higher, because a crow can't fly at the heights that the eagle flies at. And I love that thought of just, what, we all going to have some crows in our lives and some chickens, and people don't understand, but you're not supposed to be fighting those battles with crows and trying to just rise higher. I've learned, you see it in the scriptures, Joseph was good to his brothers when they had betrayed him and sold him into slavery. But 13 years later, he invited him to come live in Egypt and gave him, what? When you can be good to people that are not good to you, when you can rise above it, that's a strong character. And I believe that's when God can trust you with more. Because it's easy, to use your power to push them down because may have more power, more influence. But I've just learned, be good to people. And when they don't understand me, I think, okay, maybe you're right and maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but we don't have to be enemies or hateful with each other, but I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing and not let that get on the inside. Because the other thing too, and again, I come from the world of church and pastors. I've seen pastor friends, this is years back, but I'd see them up speaking. Maybe I hear their message on a YouTube or something, and I know them because they're friends of mine. I think, okay, you're speaking to the critics. You're mad. You're talking to your congregation. Everybody in your congregation loves you, but you're talking to the critics, and you're mad and you're defensive. And you know what it does, Logan? It starts to change you because you think, okay, I got to address this issue in the pulpit. Even if it's subtly. And I think that's important that if you start, and this is not just churches, but if you start taking on that criticism and think, well, I'm going to prove to you that I'm not who you say I am, then all of a sudden it's changing who you are. You're defensive, and I got to do this, and man, that's letting them control you. That's giving away your power, and I think it's a strong, powerful thing to say, you know what? I know who I am. I know who I'm not, and I'm not moved by, all the critics and all the negative chatter. And it's going to be there. And for me, I get it from both sides. Will you go further left or will you go further right? And I told my team early on, I said, guys, I'm going to get criticized for something because we're making a lot of, noise or impact. I said, I'd rather be criticized for who I am. And here's who I am. I believe God's good. I believe God is for you. I believe He's got a great life in front of you. And I want to be criticized for what I believe. So, you can't put out all those fires.
Yeah.
So you pretty much are like mogging the other pastors through peace maxing as opposed to cortisol spiking.
I have no idea what you just said.
You're mogging all the other pastors. You're not going to spike your cortisol. You'll choose to relax max or believe in yourself max or peace max.
Yes, hey, that's exactly right. That's what I'm speaking on next week.
It's
that in the clips.
Don't worry about anything I just said there. Right?
Got it.
That's crazy, bro.
It's peace max.
Peace max. Would you say this is a mega church?
Yeah, that's what people call it.
Have you seen Druski's mega church sketch?
I saw clips of it.
What did you think?
Well, it's funny, he's making fun of it. I just thought it was funny. That was funny, but it's a mega church because we're big. But here's the thing. I think this is interesting.
It is mega.
Yeah. But we never tried to have a big church. It really wasn't a goal. It was just a goal to help people. And so my parents started with 90 people back in 1959. So I grew up in a small church. I knew everybody, till I was 10 years old. It was still 90 people. And so it grew to, thousands by the time my dad died. But we never really tried to have a big church. We just didn't want to turn people away. We had to just make room for more people. So I think the goal was not just the bigness, but the goal is to impact people. And the interesting thing, Logan, is I have friends that have churches of 200 people in the county or 300 people, and they're fantastic pastors. This doesn't necessarily say, well, you're better because it's bigger. It's just, we're in a big city. God's given us a lot of opportunity. And
what would be the equivalent of like a pastor feature? Like, do you ever have another pastor come up here and like?
Yeah, I'd have friends come and speak for us. Yeah, like weekends that I'm not here. I have staff that do it, but yeah, there's so many great pastors in America and really around the world. They'll come from other cities too and speak for us. So got a lot of friends. And
got to put them on.
Yeah, and they're good. It's good camaraderie, and people have different gifts. And I like to bring people that are different than me. But yeah, there's great pastors.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
What do you think happens when we die? And when I say we, I mean, what happens when Mike dies?
Well, Why me specifically?
Well, you're a good one.
Where's he going?
Mike, he's going to go to heaven. I believe the scripture. Hey, don't take it from me. Take it from.
Sorry, we should
says,
adapt up on that because I already know you're going to say you can't make that joke. But go ahead. Yes.
Well, it says to be, when you're absent from the body, it's to be present with the Lord. When you know the Lord, I believe, Logan, what the scripture says, that when you know the Lord, you've taken Jesus as your Savior, you believe He's the Son of God, and you received His forgiveness. It's a gift by faith. It's not how good you are and, well, I wasn't good enough, or I made too many mistakes. Cliff does it better than me. The thief on the cross, he couldn't do anything. He just said, can I be with you? And so it's the grace, you have to receive it. And then I think, the opposite is there's a hell, there's a separation from God. I don't know what that is, but if you're separating from God, it's not going to be anything good. So, I believe that. But we were created to go to heaven. It was made for us, and I believe God gives us all a chance. He calls us, and it's an act of faith. I think sometimes your head, you can't understand it, but it's down in your heart. Jesus, I believe you're the Son of God, and that's what I believe.
So I think about it sometimes too. He brings it up. I've had my struggles with sin, still do. Do you think there's like different area codes in heaven for people that did better in life?
Like tiers almost.
Yeah,
a little bit.
There's like really, really nice houses for a preacher who like really was maybe even abstinent or just like really did a great job. He gets like crazy house with like a fountain and all that stuff. Then they have like, you're still in heaven, but it's like favelas. You know what I'm saying? Like a little bit of like a more like compacted, like populated neighborhood for people like me. And honestly, for you ain't perfect. I'm not gonna get it. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Like there's a chance I wouldn't say neighbors, but you could be up the street, maybe up the hill a little bit from me.
I don't think so. I mean, actually, maybe at this point.
You got the family and the kid.
Yeah, and I'm pretty wholesome.
Yeah, you're pretty wholesome.
Yeah.
I'll get there, right?
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Do you think that there's different?
I don't know. I've never
codes?
studied it all. I think that you're going to receive forgiveness, and it's going to be a place that's amazing, and that, you know what, it's the grace of God, because all of us have something and plenty of things. But, it does say you're going to be rewarded for what you've done, and, so I think there's part of that. But I don't know that I understand it all, but I know I don't think there's going to be different neighborhoods like that.
So the way you look at it is, do you think that this separation from God that leads you to eternal damnation is a little bit more of like a active step where someone might actively reject God and say, and maybe even tell others like he's not real, like this isn't real, or even go even further and worship the devil or some sort of pagan god, right?
Yeah. I don't know, Mike. I don't know if I understand
Sorry, I know
it all.
we're getting a little.
No, I don't know if I
this stuff
understand
really
it.
interests me in LP. That's the only reason we're
You
asking.
got to get somebody that's more
Okay.
skilled on it. But mine is just, I know it's separation from God. I know we don't want to be there, so I hadn't studied much about it.
Okay, can I ask you another question?
Yes.
Okay, because about collaborations within your ministry.
Okay.
You did a big one in 2018.
Okay.
With a guy named Kanye West. His Sunday service.
Yes.
He goes by Ye now. Kanye's had a pretty rough couple years here.
Yes.
Okay, and did some abhorrent things and has his rationales or whatever. Just last week, he sold out SoFi in Los Angeles 2 nights, 80,000 people, and is on this comeback tour. Just wanted to get your thoughts on where he's at and how that all looks to you.
It's interesting because I had no contact with Kanye or Ye before he came on his spiritual journey, and that was back, like you said, in 2018 or so. So he wanted to talk, and we talked several times, and on the phone we met several times, and I found him. I can just tell you what I know. He was as respectful and kind and sincere as can be, and one of the nicest men. Came to my house, had dinner, came to the church, and did a beautiful Sunday service and all. I think I don't know, but he struggles with some mental illnesses and stuff, and he's talked about that, but that's not what I see now, and some of the things I heard, since then was not the Ye that I knew. And so I pray for him. I pray for him often because I know his heart, and I know he's a good man, and I believe that he loves God. It's just, sometimes you can maybe get a little off course. So I don't know where he's at. I wish I could speak to him again, but it's been a time just we need to pray, that I need to pray for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe you guys need to reconnect.
I'd love to do that. I don't know where he is. He seems like he's at a different place. I'm talking there, but I know he has a heart for God and a heart to do the right thing. I think, there's some, we all have issues, but sometimes it's stronger in people of just fighting some mental battles and just in general, not just with him, but there's mental illnesses are real and they can throw you off and, but I believe you can be healed and you can be restored.
It's a very complex situation. And as someone who's definitely struggled with the mental demons of life and done some really nasty stuff as a result of it, I think Kanye, like anybody else, has to go through the righting of the wrongs. Like how do you fix it now? And then how do you?
Can I make one suggestion?
Yeah,
there's just one suggestion. He put an apology out, right?
He did put an apology out. He met with some people from the Jewish religion.
It was a written.
He did, yeah, but he met with a rabbi as well and has started to fix that.
I think for me, it would be nice to hear the apology and see the demeanor of the apology rather than like a tweet. You know what I'm saying? And it's just coming from someone who's made mistakes. I have a feeling that if I were to only leave it as a text-based apology, I'd be filleted.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he gets the Kanye pass because he's Kanye, but like I think the genuineness and authenticity of a real heartfelt apology, at least for me, would go a long way.
Yeah.
Maybe you should do that with him. What if you guys had a one-on-one and that was his conversation about it?
I'd love to help in any way I can. I don't know if I have that influence with him, but I'd love to help in any way I can. I think what you're saying, Logan, just in general, people hear your heart is always better than a written word. And so, yeah.
Yeah, like I had a lot of people being like, "Oh, this was actually a good apology," and I'm like, man, how can you even think for 1 second this is genuine and not prepared by a PR team? How could you possibly know that?
Yeah.
And it hasn't been glossed over by at least 20 people that are close with Kanye and looking out for him.
Yeah,
instead of it coming from him exactly.
I don't have the answers to it either. I do hear that for sure, and like the idea of him having a conversation about it, and like I'm not one of the afflicted ones by his statements. I'm a Christian, and so like I can't speak for other people, but like the idea that it should just fade out and we should just forget about it, seems a little crazy to me.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. And obviously he's got a stroke of genius in him, and
he's still gonna be selling out stadiums and stuff. I mean,
and
Dylan's Jewish. He went.
He did.
Said it was a great time. He said it was great.
Everybody. I knew a lot of Jewish people that went to it,
really?
and Dylan's, stance on it was like, we need to find forgiveness for people as much as you do in the Christian faith. Like we look at things the same way. We're going to try to find a way to reconnect with our brothers and sisters and do that outreach that you do so well with your ministry. And I think, but it brings up this like deeper conversation around cancel culture in general. I think his seemed a little bit more obvious than some of the other cases, but like, where is the line? You know, at the end of the day, where you say, and it's a deep thing to go and say this human is beyond repair. That's a horrible thing to say.
Yeah. I don't know if I know the answer, Mike.
Me neither.
There's consequences that but we're for second chances. But obviously there's times where second chance, but stay in the background though. Get your second chance. So I don't know what the answer is.
Do you believe in aliens?
I've never thought about it. I never really thought about it. No, do I believe in aliens? I don't know. I don't know. Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have you...
I actually don't even know if it's like up for debate anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I think alien is interesting, and perhaps in a way like we're the aliens, because we're a bit parasitic on this floating rock in the middle of space, and I don't know how we got here. Logically, scientifically, do you think scientific explanations of the universe can coexist with spiritual explanations of the universe?
I think they can, but again, I have not studied that. But I have people a lot smarter than me believe that they can. But I don't know.
Do you think? Because there's a whole poly market on whether or not the United States will confirm the existence of aliens this year. And it's a big conversation as these unknown objects and flying crafts and things that can't be explained in the sky are being seen more and more. Wow. Do you think if there was an objective confirmation of some sort of extraterrestrial or extra dimensional life, do you think it would impact at all the way people view Christianity and humanity's place in the universe?
Just my point of view, I don't think it would. I don't think that would surprise me, even if, it doesn't mean we understand everything about God and life and space and all that. So it wouldn't me, but maybe I'm more naive and simple, but it wouldn't be. So, God could have made, a lot of things we don't know about.
That's the way I always look at it.
Yeah.
I don't see as much conflict between science and religion. I just see things about God that maybe we don't understand. Yeah. And like science, will say, oh, well, there's these infinite galaxies and all this stuff. And I just see another stroke of God's paintbrush that like we just don't have an explanation for.
Sure.
I mean, I always go back to the Big Bang, and like it's like they can always like explain it up until this like one moment, like the like light switch moment, and like I get there and I'm just like, someone like had to do something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it just, I don't know, like this idea that just like everything just created, I don't know.
Too big a coincidence to me.
I know we're getting a little quantum here, probably more than you would like.
I'm good.
What do you like to do outside?
Outside,
of the church?
I like to hang out with my family. I like to play tennis. Jonathan and I took up tennis during COVID. I used to play basketball all the time. Loved playing basketball. Grew up playing basketball, sports, and like to lift weights. We travel. I like to travel. But, after I do a radio show at 4, and then afterwards, Victoria and I'll probably go for a bike ride. I can ride my bike, I like to be active.
Yeah.
Been active my whole
good,
life.
Right?
Yeah, played sports my whole life. And so I love doing that.
You got a favorite team?
Well, I like the Houston teams.
Yeah.
I like the Houston teams. I've been here my whole life, so I support the Rockets, the Texans, and Astros and all, so yeah.
Do you have a favorite meal of the day?
My favorite meal is probably dinner, but I'm a boring eater. I was
gonna say, like, what's a favorite meal?
I eat a turkey tacos. I'll eat a chicken breast at lunch. I try to eat healthier now.
Yeah.
The last 4 or 5 years.
You ever get Marco's Pizza?
I've had it before. Yeah, that's great.
What's the best barbecue in Houston?
I like Papa's Barbecue.
Oh, I drove past
Good companies too. Good companies real close too, but Papa's is good. I order Papa's all the time.
I was gonna bring my mom to Pinkerton's.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's newer, but we drove by Papa's.
Yeah,
so
nice.
that's do you like Whataburger?
I love Whataburger, but I don't eat it as much anymore.
Yeah,
I try to eat healthy, but
I
I eat Whataburger my whole life.
Yeah.
I love that.
You don't do like tours of your sermons?
Well, we did, Logan. Before COVID, I did 250 of what we call a night of hope in different basketball arenas all across America and some in overseas too. So, yeah, it was great. I do one a month. It wasn't a long tour, but I do one a month. But I did that for 16 years.
Wow,
it was good.
Didn't you? I like how he says, like, oh yeah, we go do these little shows. Didn't you sell out Yankee Stadium?
We've done it 3 times.
Whoa.
3 times.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, I got the honor of, when they opened their new stadium, I was the first non-baseball event there. They asked me to come open it up. And so, yeah, it's amazing, because when they asked me, the Yankees organization, somebody there called and asked, I thought it was a prank call. You want this preacher from Texas to come up to New York. But we went up there and did it. It was amazing. People are hungry for faith and positivity and hope, and it was an amazing time. I remember when it was over. That's the first stadium event I'd done. When it was over, nobody wanted to leave. They just stayed in the stands. I thought, oh my gosh! And they were on the subway singing the songs. And then we did one stadium a year, a big stadium. We do the basketball arenas once a month. But I did that for 10 years, and so I want to do some. But COVID is in my mind has changed things in terms of how people get their content. At least for me, like in a church. During COVID, we were closed for 8 months, but we ran the service. We pre-taped them and all. But it taught people they can watch online, and maybe I don't need to go out. And we kind of follow like movie theaters, that their attendance is down because now you got Netflix and you got, maybe I don't want to go drive to the movie theater anymore. I'll just watch it. And so I've seen the change here, but, we're reaching more people. It's just they're getting their information different ways.
Are you charging tickets to sit in a seat?
No, nothing here. It's all donations if you want to give, and you don't have to give.
Wow.
But no, there's
So
nothing.
you don't have a gate.
No. When we did the Nights of Hope, it was a $10 ticket.
Yeah, I get it.
It's just it's cheap. No, this is just these are, the people that come and support. They're generous people. They're faithful people. They believe in what we're doing. They support the ministry, and I don't beg people for money or pressure them. It's just, guys, if you want to help us, and we try to show them that we're feeding the poor. And my brother's a surgeon. He works with us, but he goes 5 months a year or 4 months a year over to Africa and operates back in these little villages.
Wow.
And I got great teams that go out and, buy backpacks for kids here in school that can't afford it. These are some amazing people here at Lakewood. I'm not bragging on me, I'm bragging on them, but just the outreach, because people see me and it's just this thing, but there's a lot behind the scenes of the good that we're able to do.
Yeah, you have a big team.
Yeah, and I got a big team. We have big resources, so I can, we can help people in need, and we can, and that gets all pushed down. It's just all about this other, but
The yachts.
Yeah, and it's no, you know what? We're doing a lot of good in the community. Our team is amazing.
Wait, I did want to ask something. So obviously, you are a wealthy person.
Yes,
but it seems that it's because of the extracurricular stuff that you've done outside of
That's
the
exactly
church.
right.
Which to me, I mean, like, bro, you deserve it. You really, you do deserve it.
You know what? We're big givers too. Victoria and I believe in being generous. I'm one of the biggest supporters of the church, and so I don't talk about that because I don't want to.
Wait. You make money and then you give it back to the church?
I'm a big supporter of the church.
Whoa, that's
probably one of the. But I'm not saying that to brag. And we give to other things.
No,
We
but
like
I'm
to
saying
feed-
it.
I know. But otherwise, people turn it. But
no, it's super admirable.
No, I want to support it. I believe in what we're doing and stuff. And so, no, and we're able. But God's blessed me. But I'm able to. There's nothing. People kind of get wrong about, you're a Christian. You're not supposed to, but that's. I mean, Abraham was one of the wealthiest men of his day, and David left.
Why is that? Why is that a thought process? Is it having to do something with like living minimally or like?
Well, there's some scriptures too, right?
Yeah, there's some, but I think the general. Yeah, I think it is. It's my dad was taught to be whatever holy or a Christian. You need to be poor and you need to think defeated. And this was years ago. Yeah. But there is that mindset of but. I just have a different mindset of, man, guys, it cost $100 million to renovate this facility. I can't do that with a mindset of, we're not supposed to have anything. I got to believe that God will bless you and your businesses. And I pray every day for the people that give and support. And, God, let our gifts and talents come out to the full. Bring us opportunities and contracts and divine connections, the right people. Even this, I believe that it's to be a good steward of it, but it's not, hey, I want this, guys, because I want to go buy a bunch of yachts and stuff. No, it's, how can I be I'll use it to feed more kids. And you get to a point where, okay, I got everything I need. I don't need more suits. My car's a 12-year-old Audi sedan, and I love it. And my kids say, you need to get a new car. It's 12 years old. I say, I love my car,
Yeah.
I'm happy. So, you know what? It's how can I be a blessing to other people,
I do have to ask, actually, I kind of just want to know personally,
Yeah.
besides the suits, besides the give back to the church, is there something that you've splurged on where you're like, man, this is cool? Like, I don't know, Pokemon card, like Mike said, T-Rex tooth,
no.
art piece.
No, nothing like that. I have a nice house here. We built us a nice house, but I made that money off of real estate and books.
You got a pool?
I got a pool, and I got my workout room, and I
got a lawn.
Say it again.
Lawn.
I got a
It's
lawn.
Texas, so
I got a lawn.
Yeah, they have some land here.
How many acres?
2 acres.
It's pretty humble.
And I write
It's perfect.
I write my sermons there, so it's where I live, and it's it's nice.
I wanted to ask about the actual content that you're producing.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot, and moreover, it's obviously extremely rich. Are you coming up with what you're saying throughout the week, and then you come here and you deliver it, and are you channeling your conversations with God?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I come up with it myself, what I'm feeling. I have pastor friends that maybe do an 8-week series on relationships or something, and that's all good. Mine is, what am I feeling this week? Like I just came off of yesterday, so I don't really think about it today, but tomorrow I'll start feeling, and what's going on in the world? What am I feeling? I can only speak on what's in me, because I got a lot of notes and stuff, but if I don't feel it, I can't talk about it. So I'll have to see what I'm feeling, but I'll take Wednesday morning when I'm fresh, and I'll just start maybe making some notes, or what am I feeling? I got a lot of notes, so what am I feeling? Thursday, I'll do more research Thursday morning. After I do 2 or 3 hours of research Thursday morning, I'll go for a walk for an hour or two just to think, okay, what is it? And then Friday I get up and write it. And so I'll type it just like I said, I want to talk to you today about, and I'll just type it, and whatever comes out. But then Saturday I come and I rehearse it here. I do it with the team so they can see it, and then Sunday I do it. So, but bottom line though it's a, I don't mean this the wrong way, but it's a one-man show. I don't have a team telling me what to do or researching. It's just, I've done 1,071 of those 30-minute messages. Wow. And so, I don't know, it's gotten easier. The first 4 or 5 years, it was like I could write all day and I might only write 8 minutes. And I think, oh gosh, I'm not going to have anything to say. I've just got writer's block, and I'd sweat. And it was a struggle the first 4 or 5 years, because I'd never written a message. They get up there and they expect you to be great and funny and interesting.
No, it's really hard. And as a performer, I'm not. You're not. I think performing. You're more like channeling and orating in a way. Yeah. But dude, there's some days where I'm like, bro, I'm not feeling it. I'm not fun. I'm not my best self today. But I could, for the most part, fake it at least to 80% of my ability and get the promo out. Yeah. But you're preaching messages with a lot of validity in what you're saying. I know. But what happens on those days where you're not feeling as funny or as likable, or maybe you are having a little self-doubt?
Yeah, I just push through it, and I try to get myself prepared, meaning that Monday and Tuesday can be real busy. I can do a lot of stuff. Okay, Wednesday, I got to calm down. I got to get back to a good space. And it doesn't mean I can't push through it, because life happens, but it is, I take it very seriously that I get to stand up in front of millions of people, and they're going to give me their time. People like your mom. And I think, God, you give me this responsibility. I'm going to make sure what I'm saying is the best of my ability, that it's accurate and it makes sense, and that it's helping somebody. I don't want to get up there and just tell stories or make somebody laugh. Is this impactful when they leave? Is it, they're giving me their time. Is it going to make some kind of impact? And so I do feel that responsibility. I don't feel, it's not a pressure, but it's definitely a responsibility that, man, I am so honored that I get to speak to a lot of people. And, so I do try to take it seriously. And what do I need to say this week? What am I feeling? What's going on in the world? And what's going to help? Sometimes it's challenging. It's like, guys, come on, we can break addictions. We can break bondages from the past. We can step past, dysfunction that's held us back. You're the one. And then sometimes I feel like, no, man, I don't need to challenge. I need to tell them, you know what? God is with you in the fire, in the furnace, like that 3 teenagers. He's going to bring you through. You just stay in peace. And so it's what I'm feeling. It's whatever I'm feeling. Sometimes it's what I'm going through in my life, and I just have to. But I feel like that's when I'm, that's what I'll figure out what to say. And it's, it's just 25 minutes. That's what I tell myself, Joel, it's 25 minutes. You can do this, and you get this opportunity. And these things live on. So when I speak, like yesterday, I do my 25 minutes, at 2:00 in the afternoon, they'll send me the edit of it, and, and I review that. And then it goes to my podcast, it goes to Sirius Radio, it goes to broadcast TV, it goes to cable. And, and they do clip, I don't know what I'm talking about, but it does get cut up for all those other things. So when I leave on Sunday afternoon, I feel good that, okay, there's another, I put out hope to the world. And so anyway, why am I telling you all that? I don't know.
I think it leads into a good spot right now, because I did just get was that a Dylan type signal?
Yeah, it was
I want to ask you this, because we know what you're capable of from a prep standpoint, right? But we're coming out of maybe the most joyous day of the year. He has risen. Yesterday was Easter Sunday. What a great day, right? Could you maybe speak to some of the people watching this from home right now, and maybe some of the people here with us today, a quick message to bring us out of this lovely episode?
I'd be honored to. Hey, guys, it's just an honor to be with you today. And just like Mike said, we're coming out of Resurrection Sunday. And to me, part of that is that it's a time of new beginnings in your life. And it's a great time to say, you know what, I'm going to let go of the old. We've all made mistakes. We've all had doubt. We all have some guilt. We've all had people that hurt us. But I think it's a great time of the year to just say, you know what, I'm going to leave all the old behind. And I'm going to step into a fresh new attitude, fresh vision, and just freshness in your life. And I've learned this, that, you know, the scripture says God will give you beauty for ashes, but as long as you're holding on to the ashes, you'll never see the beauty. And I think sometimes we're holding on to things. We're holding on to hurts. I think we can hold on to, you know, our failures or our inadequacies, like me, and I can't do this. I'm not talented enough. I'm not like my dad. But if you'll let go of those things, I believe God will, you know, give you beauty for the ashes. He'll show you new levels of his favor and his blessing in your life. I know this, you wouldn't be alive unless God had something in store for you, a purpose and a destiny. And I think sometimes we try to fill it in other things, and we're, you know, competing or comparing with somebody else. And you know what? You can be who God made you to be. And, you know, Mike, too, it's, you know what? I'm not talking about even joining my religion or anything. It's about a relationship with God. You just say, Jesus, you know what? I need you. I need your help. God, I believe you have a purpose for me. You can just talk to God like you talk to your friend. You know, you can talk to God all through the day in your thoughts, and you talk to him like a friend, and you know what? God will help you. He'll lead you and guide you through your life. But thanks for the opportunity, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joel.
Amen.
Yeah, y'all are very nice. Let me do this.
Thank you.
Thank you
This
for
was
coming
awesome,
on.
bro.
My pleasure.
Incredible.
Thanks for giving us your stage.
Oh, man, I'm glad having you.
To use art to film what's on our stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would have ever thought Logan would be on Lakewood stage?
You're going to have some shocked viewers.
We had to clean it off at the end.
Yeah. This is hilarious. Thank you. Joel Osteen, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you ever say anymore, thanks so much for clocking in? We're working late.
Sometimes.
You want to do it right now? And
Yeah. Hey, thanks for watching.
thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll
Only
see you
right
next
here on
week. Take it
Impulsive.
easy.
See ya. Peace.
Bye.